Welcome back. This is episode 5 on my series on the Leona Divide 100K, and it is race week. That's right, less than a week until I hit that starting line. So today, going to talk a little bit about how I'm feeling going into the race and look at the gear I'll be using on race day. So without further ado, let's take a look at some gear. All right, let's talk gear. We'll start at the feet and work our way up. So, socks. Injinji socks to protect the feet, no blisters. Shoes, Nike Wild Horse. Love these shoes. Used them quite a bit in different races, and they work. Shorts. Got to start with the liner. Path Project liner. These things are fantastic. Love them. Definitely help with chafing. For shorts, again, Path Project. Got these guys. Be rocking these on race day. Next up, for a shirt, I've got this REI shirt. It's pretty nondescript, but very comfortable, super lightweight, and I like it. For a hat, to keep the sun out of my face, I'll be wearing most likely a trucker hat. Probably not this one, but I'll have one on. I've also got a bucket hat, but I don't think I'm going to wear it this time around. Let's talk vest. I've got my trusty Solomon pack. It'll be loaded up with gear. I've got a couple different options for bottles. I've got these guys, the Atacama. These are 750 milliliter bottles, which are nice when it's warm. And then I recently got these Hydro Flask. These are 600 milliliter bottles, but the nice thing about these is they got a swing top lid, so you can kind of one-hand things through aid stations, which is fantastic. I already talked about nutrition, so I'm not really going to go into deep into that today, but I do want to show one other cool thing I found. Picked these guys up on Amazon. They're reusable food pouches. So I've actually been using these for mashed potatoes, which is great because it's much better than using a Ziploc bag. I'm able to basically just kind of eat it as needed. And like I said, they're reusable. So put instant mashed potatoes in there and I can kind of eat them on the go, which has been super nice. For poles, I'm using these Black Diamond Carbon Z poles, super lightweight. I was previously using some Lakey poles that were telescoping. So these are nice because I don't have to worry about adjusting any of the length on them, and they're very lightweight. To carry the poles, I have a Solomon quiver. And to keep the sun out of my eyes, Gooder. Now, it doesn't look like it's going to be terribly hot on race day, probably mid-70s, but I still probably going to want to do a little bit of cooling strategy. So I've got a nice bandana. I'll have that in my pack, and I'll use that to help cool off, to help keep cool. Another thing to help keep cool, I've got some arm sleeves. So I throw these on, put some ice down there, get them wet, and it's going to help with cooling. You can also wear them in the morning, maybe for a little bit of warmth, because it's going to be probably in the high 40s when we start. Next up, squirrel's nut butter. Everybody knows what this is for. I'll be applying pre-race, and I'll also be carrying the small 1 ounce container in my pack so I can reapply as needed. Something that's new to me is this Ultraspire Solstice waist light. I'll be using this obviously for the night section because unfortunately I'm not fast enough to finish in daylight. I've used a waist light in the past, but this will be my first time with this guy. It's 800 lumens, so it should be nice and bright to light up the trail. And last but not least, watch. I've got a Phoenix 6X. Should have plenty of battery life, and it'll last me the entire race, so I don't have to worry about charging it. So that's a quick rundown of my gear for the 100K. If you happen to see me out there, love a high five. All right, so that's a look at the gear I'll be using on race day. Now, let's talk about the weather. So, historically, Leona Divide has a propensity to be a warm race, and there's no cover out there, so it can get pretty hot. So far, depending on which source you're looking at, the weather actually doesn't look too bad. We're looking from high 40s as the lows at the starting line to high 60s to mid 70s. So if that holds out, I'll actually be pretty happy with that weather. Obviously, I'd rather have the 60s than the 70s, but I can't complain too much with that forecast. I feel pretty good going into the race. This will be my lowest volume I've ever done from a long run standpoint for 100K, but my overall weekly volume is pretty much in line with what I've been doing the past couple years for 100Ks. So I feel pretty good there, and I've been very consistent in training. Only missed one workout, and that was pretty early in the cycle. So I think as long as I'm consistent with my fueling, I should be okay. And I know I had a little bit of a snafu a few weeks ago at that 50K from a hydration standpoint, but since then I've pretty much nailed my hydration on all my runs. So I think I've got that worked out as well, and we'll see how things go. Working with a coach through this cycle has been really good for keeping me consistent and having some accountability. So we've been very intentional with the weekly workouts and even workouts within some of my long runs on the weekend. And so I think that's really what's going to pay dividends on race day. I'll be doing one more episode in this series after the race to do a quick recap and let you guys know how the race went. If you're also racing next weekend, good luck. Hopefully we'll get to say hi either before or after the race, or maybe we'll be lucky enough to share some miles on the trail. So let's crush some trails this weekend, and after the race, let's drink some ales.